Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival 2020. This is the industry event, and thanks so much for joining us today. This year, our film program will be screened online from September 9th to the 15th with our new media exhibition installed at Medulla Art Gallery in Woodbrook in Port of Spain. So if you are joining us, feel free to ask any questions and comments in the sections below. We'll try to answer them during the session. And don't forget, you can check out the films listed today on online TrinidadTobagoFilmFestival.com. Well, during the entire session that we are here from the 9th to the 15th. And we'd especially like to thank all our Trinidad Tobago Film Festival 20 sponsors and partners. Trinidad Tobago Film Festival 20 is given leading sponsorship by the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts in Trinidad and Tobago. And we have contributing sponsorship from Republic Bank Limited and Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited, supporting our events here at Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival online industry events. So with me today, I have some wonderful filmmakers who I was able to see some of the films that they saw today. So in no particular order, I have Mr. Lavado Stubbs, who did Plastic Warriors. We have Mr. Derek Galon. I hope I said your name correctly. Derek Galon did a virtual journey first through the Dominican forest. And we have Mr. Dani Drumond, who did Philadelphia 7. Philadelphia spelled with an F and not a PH. Yeah. Right? I think that's everyone that we have here. We have some other guests who will get to hear them as we go along, but these are the three directors for the films that we're talking about today. So I'll probably just want to start off. There seems to be like a similar thread through most of the films that you guys have made. And for me, I would just kind of like to ask just briefly, like what was like the main motivation for you guys to put together these films? You know, like what was the starting point to get this story told? Maybe we could start with Mr. Stubbs.
Okay. You know, it was an amazing journey with this documentary. Originally, Kristal Ambrose, that's also on the panel, the amazing subject of this documentary. She originally approached me to, you know, to do a documentary on an organization, the Bahamas Plastic Movement. And originally when she approached me with it, right away I was inspired because, you know, being a fellow Bahamian, this was the first time I knew what she was doing. So I thought it would be great to not only showcase her organization, but also tell the story about why she's doing what she's doing, like her growth, her background, and, you know, sort of making it more of a profile on her, also showcasing the Bahamas Plastic Movement. So it went in a whole totally different direction when she originally approached me. And I'm very happy that she trusted me with going with my vision and allowing me to tell the story the way, you know, I wanted to tell it. And I'm proud of her, man. You know, since making this documentary, Kristal is family to me. I consider her my sister. She inspires me. As filmmakers, I'm sure everybody in the panel know, like, once you create a documentary, you become a part of that documentary. So I'm now a part of her story, on a journey, and you know, I consider her a Bahamian hero. So I don't know if Kristal, you want to touch on anything?
Yes, Kristal Ocean.
On the spot.
Every time he tells the story, I just over here blushing, but I really appreciate Lavado. He too is a Bahamian icon and a Bahamian hero, leading the charge in the filmmaking industry here in the Bahamas. And when I initially approached Lavado about this project, I was never supposed to be the center of it, just like he mentioned. It was supposed to be towards a plastic-free Bahamas, telling the story of where we were, where we are now, and where we're going as it relates to plastic pollution and environmental ocean issues in the Bahamas. And Lavado, you know, we went back and forth, and he's like, "You're the protagonist of this story. We have to tell your story," and brought it to life.
Okay, so it was really good to hear your story. And speaking of I guess amazing woman, I'd like to switch across to Dani for a sec, who you dealt with people who were tackling this issue of conservation and recycling, but this was like a group of women, a collective of women. So what motivated you to tell that story?
Okay. Well, in Brazil, we have a special way of dealing with recycled materials. Well, I feel sorry for my English. There's a long time that I don't talk with anyone in English, so I'm gonna commit some mistakes. But I'm kind of shy too. But well, across Brazil, the cooperatives that sort recyclable material are mostly women, like 90% of them. So it's very common to go to a cooperative and you find almost everyone, and they're women because and the thing with recycling in Brazil, it's really different. Like thinking about like the European way of recycling, like the incineration thing. Here, the most part of recycling is made by the waste pickers, like 90% of the, and well, I found this cooperative. I felt really well. Like when I went there, I met this cooperative by the help of Silmara, which is a professor of the university in São Paulo, and Jacqueline, which is an researcher, an actor researcher. So I was introduced to this cooperative, and I felt really welcomed there. And we talked about making a documentary together, and it was really fun. It was a really difficult experience because I made almost all the technical part on my own. So the direction, the photography, some part of the sound was a really difficult experience, and it was my second movie. The first one I made almost all by my own, but it was an amazing experience. We still have in touch. We're still in touch.
As the same with Kristal, it was a good story to see, seeing women at the forefront of conservation and trying to make our space better. Just a quick question to you. Did you try to do any of the work like to keep up with some of those women? Because they kept saying that guys found it difficult to keep up with them and the hard work that they were doing.
Yeah, there was just one guy, like the driver. He was the only guy, and they keep talking about the thing because I don't know if I have to guess. Probably men here in Brazil can find better paid jobs, like instead of
doing other things.
Yeah, doing other things. Even the women that work there, they like find other jobs every time, and they goes and they comes and they goes, they comes to the cooperative. So I believe this is the thing, but it was really impressive to find just women in the cooperative for the first time I went there. Okay.
Now, before we go to Derek, if anybody have any questions, just feel free to ask. And whilst I'm talking, I'll pull it up and ask the question if you all have anything you'd like to ask any of these directors here. So Derek, for me, I think what was fascinating is that when you think about Dominica, as I told you, I was thinking about like that hiking trail, and to see on film like how the island was wrecked by the hurricane, and the positive story of it coming back with all the greenery and whatnot. I guess to me that was your motivation for showing that transformation.
Yes, correct. Actually, I was born in Poland, far away from Caribbean.
Right.
Then I spent some years in Canada, but being in Canada, I traveled back and forth to do different work as a photographer and a cameraman here in the Caribbean. And each time I came here to Dominica, I just loved the lush nature. I was hooked on it. So at one point we decided with my wife, just move everything, and we just 6 years ago we decided to move to Dominica. And I kept photographing and filming and working as a cameraman for different companies and for myself. And then Hurricane Maria came, and it was such a blast, unbelievable. The green color stopped existing. It was not to be seen anywhere. The green disappeared. Everything was just sticks.
What was it like seeing that, like up close, like actually being in the middle of it?
It was simply shocking. It was like imagine a huge bomb. It was like a war disaster zone. Just nothing standing proper, everything broken. Trees broken, houses, everything just like a total mess. Just a dirty brown mess.
So
And
how do you feel now?
After first shock, I decided this is amazing opportunity to film that and to simply see progressing of recovery of the nature. I didn't have any idea how fast it may be, but after a couple of months, I started seeing trees starting to put some green leaves here and there, and I decided I have to go and film at quite frequent intervals these changes. So thankfully I had my drone working after the hurricane. I set several locations with GPS tracking, and I sent the drone every month over the forest in certain way, going the same speed, same height, same path, filming the same forest as it comes back. So that footage helped me to create time lapse of recovery. And of course, being in the forest, I filmed all the different scenes of the recovery. I had the footage from before hurricane and then after from just recently. So I decided to put it together and show how incredibly quickly, after I say 3 years, it's nothing to, when you see the damage, when there is a few seconds showing the damage, 3 years to see practically complete recovery.
And I think that was like the great thing, like seeing that transformation back to like the beautiful lush landscapes and so forth. So, as much as our hearts are probably broken, seeing it, it's glad to see that nature found a way and come back to give us, this beautiful scenery. Lavado, I just wanted to ask you, like, looking at some of your profile, you've done like music videos and a number of other interesting things that are not, let's say, environmental related. So what was that transition like, coming back to doing something like this?
Well, I enjoy challenge always. Everything you saw on my profile is because of the challenge and trying different things. And it's just the same kind of work, just a different situation, slightly different thinking, but the same experience you have, you can use for this and that. So expanding, always trying something new. This is life for me. So it's natural.
It was good. It was good seeing it. So I'm gonna put it over to Lavado as well to answer for me.
No problem. Yeah. Well, I'm inspired by directors like Spike Lee, and Spike does everything. He does music videos, films, documentaries, and that's kind of a source of my inspiration. Coming up as a filmmaker. So for me, they all tell stories. Even though a music video is with an artist, it still tells the story of an artist and their song. So for me, the transition to documentaries, actually documentaries, I would say, would be my first love, because documentaries is reality. And what I like to say about documentaries is when you walk out the theater, the story is still happening. That's what I love about documentaries. So it was an easy transition because, anything that has to do with film or media, I love to find a way to express myself, and especially our culture, and this film is very important for Bahamian culture because it's about our environment. And people come to our country every year our sun,
For the environment.
So exactly, yeah. So what Kristal is doing is amazing, man. Kristal is protecting it, and she's bringing this awareness to people in our country that wouldn't thought this way or think about it, you know, because we have it in our backyard, you know. So yeah, so it was an easy transition. No matter what the form is or the genre of film, you know, I try to tell that story, be it of an attachment of me, which is my culture, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. That's interesting. So Dani, I'm just gonna start with you on another question here. So like challenges, like what was like some of the things that probably unexpected that came up while you were putting a film together?
Well, it was really difficult to do with myself, I believe. Like, it was my second movie, but it was the first one I made without a supervision. Like, the other movie I made, it's in the festival too. It's Meat and Shell. It was supervised by professors, and it was really different than making a movie on my own. So it was a real challenge to situate myself in a different environment, because I was like a curious boy. I was really curious about life cycle of products, what happens with the waste of our houses. I was really curious about that. And I just came by to a cooperative like in my city, but like 30 kilometers far away from my house. It was a really peripheral place in São Paulo. And it is completely different relation with reality. So it was actually a challenge, but it was really interesting. I was really welcomed. People welcomed me very well there. So I think the strongest challenge was dealing with myself.
Okay, so that's good that you overcome it, and now we have the film to look at. I was looking to see if we had any questions from anyone, anybody else who's here participating. Nothing is coming as yet, so we'll just continue until we get some more, right? So for me, one of the things I was interested in, just going back to Lavado for a sec. Plastic warriors, like the last thing I thought I would have seen were children at the forefront, but you realize how important it is, and maybe Kristal might probably jump in, teaching like the next generation, because a lot of this care and conservation for what is going to be happening to our environments is going to be left to those younger than us who's going to be here after we are gone. So what was it like having that element included into the story?
And I guess I'll start. It was great because, like you said, you know, the kids are the future. And watching an example like a leader like Kristal, they're able to get into this, you know, and be inspired to see that somebody that looks like me, first and foremost, is doing this great work to protect our country, and they could get into it as well, you know. Because I feel like leading by example is key. Even with filmmaking, like young filmmakers, they look at a filmmaker that's from their country that's doing something, and they inspire it, you know, because it's one thing to hear about it or hear about these kind of stuff, but when you could see an example, that's key, you know. And Kristal has been doing an amazing job with that, man. She's inspiring so many kids, like young kids, you know.
I think that's good to see, because then they would go on and carry on the tough job that we have in front of us.
Exactly. She makes it fun, and that's I think that's the key. She makes it fun. Like the first time experiencing it in the classroom, as you see in the documentary where she was prepping the kids, man, it's so fun. I was stomping my feet and dancing around. She was prepping them, you know. So Kristal personality and her energy for kids, man, they're like little crystals, you know.
Maybe I could use this moment because I saw Arnold is here. I didn't realize you were here. Maybe Arnold, you could hi Arnold.
Hi James, hi everybody.
Hi, how you going?
I would speak better Spanish, Creole, French, but my English is a little broken. So forgive me.
That's fine. You know, the thing with people who speak multiple languages, folks like us who could only speak one, we're the one who at a disadvantage because we don't have as much skill as you do. Um, so for me, like the first thing, I think I would just like to say thanks for that film. I think it was like a beautiful um, representation of Haiti. You know, because most of the time when people talk about Haiti, there's like certain images that you would see that would pop up. But this was a fantastic presentation, I think. And in keeping with everything else here, with most of the other films that we have in the group, it kind of shows us the beautiful environment that we are in, one, the dangers that are approaching us, two, and some of the, give us probably some tools that we need to look at to kind of take us to that place where we could protect what we have. So for me, just like quickly, like what was your motivation to do your film in such a way?
Did you understand?
I probably spoke too much.
I didn't understand very well. Speak very slowly, please.
Okay, so
You
I'll
speak
just
Spanish?
say like, lo siento.
Lo siento, pero dale, habla español.
Just a little bit. So I would just like to say, so how did you come about creating a film about the seas in Haiti?
Okay. Haiti has a lot of environmental problems. The sea is one of, on the coast, are one of the problems of the environment. Haitian, we have a very strange relationship with the sea. I didn't know how to swim. The fishermen in Haiti very often don't know how to swim because for the story of slavery, we are afraid by the sea.
Yeah.
And how they say, because of the coming from Africa to Haiti, is very traumatic because we came by the sea. Do you understand what I'm saying? But in the same time, one of the biggest god of the Vodou, of the popular religion, is a god of the sea, Isagwe. Then it's a very strange relationship. But in the last time, a lot of people came from the mountain and to go to live near the sea in very bad condition.
Yes.
And in Haiti now they throw, or they say, all the trash, they throw them in plastic trash in the rivers, and the rivers go to the sea. So it's a very big problem for the fishermen. Pollution, and the fish are going disappearing. The fish. I understood there was a very big difference between they say in French les habitants des îles.
Island inhabitants.
Island inhabitants and aliens is another relationship. So, in the same time, Haiti has some, as you said in the beginning, places, beautiful places, beautiful places. So I thought that we should make a movie to stimulate people to struggle to save, no? To save, to protect the sea and to change the relationship with the sea.
Well, to me that came across beautifully. It's a really impressive vision of what things that we haven't seen from Haiti a lot of. So I think that was good, and I actually appreciated looking at it, as I have with all the other films that that we've seen here from all you guys and the stories that you've brought. So we don't have much more time remaining. So
thank you very much for what you said.
Sorry?
Thank you very much for your what you said about the movie and about Haiti.
The pleasure is all mine. So I'll just quickly go around with everyone, maybe just like 1 or 2 words, or just like a little thought you guys like to leave everyone with as a closing. So I'll start with Lavado.
Okay. Just want to say, you know, on behalf of me and the crew, we're very honored to be a part of this wonderful festival. You know, I feel like this festival is really pushing the movement of Caribbean filmmaking. And we're all about the growth, man. We all in this together, you know. I used to call it Carrywood, like Hollywood Carrywood, you know. Like
I like that.
Yeah, man, because it's we all tell similar stories. We all have similar history, you know. So it's amazing that we're able to kind of bring this form of filmmaking and our culture to the world, you know. So yeah, I just want to say, you know, it's an honor to be a part of this, and I hope more people get a chance to watch Plastic Warriors and Kristal amazing story, and inspire people not only in the Caribbean but in the world to protect their country, you know. So, and then I mean their beautiful environment. So yeah, that's all I would want to say.
All right.
Kristal.
So Carrywood. Derek, just a brief, we're almost out of time, but just like a brief thought.
Yeah, I am really happy that you guys decided to pick my quick short video. I really appreciate that, because I know that it is different from most movies in that way that there is not a single word said. I didn't want to tell you what you should think. I wanted the emotions to be yours. So there is not a single word, it's just the music and the emotions are left to you. So it's kind of different from the mainstream. And I was really happy to see that clearly it was worth something, because you guys decided to show it. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And Dani?
Well, I'd love to thank you. It was really a pleasure for me for having the opportunity to watch the other movies too, and to be part of this. And it's great to know a little bit more about the Caribbean culture. I loved Plastic Wars, I have to say. It was really, really an experience for me. I love it. And I love the other movies too. So I'd love to thank the opportunity for being here with you.
All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. And thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see each other next year, yes?
Yeah, and even in between that.
Well,
all right, guys, thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you.